while I was off screen, I just went through and I added some rectangles, white rectangles, to take bites out of some of the shapes that I felt were too heavy, right? So this is about balance. So I took the white and I used negative space to put holes or punch holes in my shapes that were large and bulky, that just felt too visually heavy for me. So the way you reduce some of that weight, that visual weight, is by lightening it, by, in this case, taking bites out of. So you can see I put in rectangles. There we go. So I put in rectangles that were my negative space. All these different white rectangles, and it just took bites out of this, and it created actually a more interesting pattern. And if I had more time, I probably would do a little bit more with it, but I like this for a background. This works. It meets the principles and elements of design. Okay, so I've got my grid back on, and I want to talk about text, because if you're going to use text in your design at all, it needs to be a shape. And often what people will do is, look, here's the text tool right here. They'll come over here, they'll put in text, and they'll just start typing. Now, it just so happened that I had a pretty cool font and color picked out. That's actually not bad. But often, most of the time, it is one of these fonts that I loathe with a massive passion because everybody uses it. Oops, I didn't highlight it. Okay, let's start over here. I'm going to highlight this so I can use a font that I don't like. Which I thought I didn't save it up there, but now I probably have fonts that I have downloaded. In fact, I know that I have fonts that I have downloaded that you all don't have, and I'm going to show you how to get them. Okay, so most of the time that's what people do, right? They just type on a line on a page. And that is not at all what you want to do if you're going to use text. You want to use text as a shape. So one way to do that is by changing the font to something very clever. Oh, I made it smaller. I meant to make it bigger. Whoops. And using that, I like that a lot. That's really cool. And using that as, and I just typed some gibberish. This is nothing. Unfortunately, I didn't type anything profane. My luck that I would have spelled out something. I've done that before. Something horrific. Or maybe not horrific, but just, you know, not appropriate for this. Oh, I kind of like that. And then it becomes, what's really interesting is it blends in, so it's not reading, it's not saying anything, but it's now this interesting, let's bring that down, texture or pattern in my design. I really like that. Now, I could go one step further and change this to something called a dingbat. Aha. Like those Bodoni ornaments. And I'm going to change the color to black so you can see what they are right quick. There we go. Okay, so you can use text to create dingbats, use fonts to use a pattern, and that's actually pretty cool. So I just don't like it there, and I don't want it really to be black, but oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. Ooh. Use it as a negative space. Okay. And so in this way, text is being used as a shape. Another way you can use text as a shape is to, let's just do one letter and have each letter on an individual layer. So I'm just clicking off of it and clicking it again and clicking elsewhere. So clicking the move tool, clicking the text, Okay. And so now I have those as individual letters that I can modify. And let's change. I'm gonna go back to my text tool, type tool, sorry, and I'm gonna click and hold and highlight. And it requires a little bit of effort to get any good at that, but you just can tell that you're in that area. You see how it changes from this to this, and then click, hold, and drag, and it will let you highlight that, and then that will bring back up your ribbon and allow you to make changes. There we go. Okay, so now I'm starting to use the font, the text, not as text, even though it is also text, but as design elements. Last T. I'm going to rotate that. Okay. Kind of trying to align it with the top of that T. And I'm snapping to the grid, so I'm going to use the arrows on my keyboard, the up-down arrows, to just kind of nudge it. Okay, and you see how that's not just some random text on a page. It fits with the style of the design that I have, and it's used as shapes to modify the design. And then let's go one step further. I'm going to select all of these and hold down my shift key to select them all. Layer. I'm going to link them together so they stay together. And then I'm going to, I don't really want to use black here, but there we go. Divide. Bring it into, and that is how you use text as a shape. And that's all you should be doing for this. I'm going to post some links in Blackboard that will help you. Actually, let me just go to Black. Let me just go show you what I'm talking about. Okay. I've been using this website for years. It's called 1001 Free Fonts, and it's no longer just 1,000. It's probably several 100,000 by now. And these are free for personal use. You see, free for personal use. If you use anything for paid work, you either need to make sure that you have purchased an agreement from the original author, created your own, or find something that is just freeware in general. You see how they say free for personal use? So that means for anything you do for this class in your portfolio, free to use. I was looking to see if I see anything that's just completely free. Most of them are not anymore. They want to be reimbursed for their time, and understandably. The Hope Change poster, Obama guy, I know some of you guys have heard the story before. He got sued for using the photographer's photo without compensating him for it. And at the time, he ended up being sued for more than he made. So you really don't want to put yourself in that situation. Give credit, get permission, pay for whatever is necessary to be clear on your work. Because the last thing you want to do is embarrass your client who puts your work out there as their representational of them, and they get sued because they're coming at you. So you just do everything right, do everything by the book, and you don't ever have to worry about tarnishing your reputation. in a scandal like that. So you can download these fonts, and there's all kinds of different really cool fonts. There's also some really bad fonts in here, and just the word Christmas probably suggests there's going to be some really bad fonts. Yeah, those are terrible. So you can download these, use these to get some really creative and interesting shapes. Okay, so I'm going to end this video here, and that'll be a wrap.